Hey guys, we have something coming. Stay tuned, March 26th. Hey guys, it's Destiny here, and I just want to say welcome to the first episode of Tech, the Esthetician Chat, and we are here with Klylar from Kandi Esthetics.
Hi.
Okay, so Klylar, I just kind of want to know, how did you get into aesthetics, and what was your journey like to becoming an esthetician?
Okay, so originally when I was in high school, I did makeup. I wanted to be a makeup artist. So I would do like all my friends' makeup when we had like prom and homecoming. So I originally wanted to be a makeup artist, but further looking into aesthetics, I didn't even know that aesthetics was a actual profession when I first started out. And I started doing research with it. I was like, okay, I really like skincare. I used to struggle with dry skin a lot when I was younger, and eczema and things like that. So it kind of helped me handle my own skin more, doing more research when it came to skincare. So I decided I wanted to go to school and pursue that. And with me going to school, it opened up like a whole like different level of things that I can do and stuff to help other people be more confident in their skin. So that was kind of my journey coming into esthetician stuff.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that because literally I didn't think like aesthetics was a thing. Like I thought it was like dermatology and that was it. So when I found out that aesthetics was like a career choice, it was so fitting and I was so like excited. Like okay, I found my thing.
Right. Yeah. And I can make people feel confident in like any way. So I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about being an esthetician, or what is a niche that you really like to focus on? Or like, did you, when you went to school, the niche that you had in mind, did it end up turning out to be what you thought you were going for?
No, because like I said, I wanted to be a makeup artist when I went to school. So I have two things I wanted to start out with when it came to going to school. I wanted to be a makeup artist / lash tech. And if you ever did lashes as like a first time esthetician, you know the pain that it is on your back. And I might revisit it some other time, but it took so long, and it just like eventually was just like something I didn't want to do, and it's not even covered under our license, so that ended up like fading out on its own. But yeah, like when I first went to school and I saw that we did like all different type of like waxing, it led on to me wanting to do brows, and also just like diving into like the modalities when it came to skincare. Like we have microdermabrasion. We can't do microneedling in the state, but there's something called like nano infusion. There's just like a whole bunch of different machines that you can use to help like treat other people's skin. So that made me like more interested in the actual skincare side when it came to it. I still do makeup, but I dabble a little bit in everything.
Yeah, for me, I feel like, so when I went to school, because I struggled with acne for a very, very long time. So when I went to school, I was all about facials. I was like, I want to learn how to like clear up my skin, and that's really kind of like the reason why I was like there, is to clear my skin, but also educate people how they can also learn about skincare and also educate them through that. But when I graduated, I didn't even realize like how much like waxing like took, like how much I enjoyed it. But the thing is, in school I was not good at it. I wasn't good at it because I don't think I had the best teaching skills. A student in my class, like she was really teaching me versus my teacher, which really helped. But I just didn't really realize how much I would enjoy waxing. So when I started waxing, I was like, okay.
Right, this is like a different,
yeah, for sure. I absolutely love it.
I don't know. You make people feel more confident. Like the amount of girls that I wax and like they come out, they're like, girl, like I feel so like different. Like I feel fresh. Like, you know.
Especially when you have like a first time waxer, they're like, oh, like you put me on, you know what I mean? I'm like,
or
yes.
Like the best compliments when they tell you like, girl, I thought this was gonna hurt so much more than it actually did. And it's like, okay, like
the anticipation of like waxing can be like insane. Then when you, even for me, like the first time like I waxed, actually it was in school, first Brazilian ever in school.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's like, wow, I don't know if I should have done this. And I think like part of me was like you got this. Like you in a group full of like other students. So I was like, okay, I got this. And I was like, yeah, like you got it. And then after that, like my second appointment, I was like, oh no, I don't think I was ready for this. But it's honestly not that bad. I think the biggest thing is like the anticipation again.
Right, definitely.
Okay, so what's a service or a treatment that you really, really like love?
Okay. This is kind of hard because I do so many services. Like I do waxing, I do eyebrows, I do makeup, I do the facials, I do a little bit of everything. So it's kind of a hard question for me to say. I feel like probably like hyperpigmentation facials, just because that's another thing that I've struggled with myself. Hyperpigmentation, just lightening and brightening. I feel like sometimes skincare cannot be focused mostly on like people who have like melanated skin.
Right.
So I like to do my research on products that are going to help people of my complexion to feel more confident in their skin and help with lightening and brightening. So that's one thing I can say I really like, just like dealing with melanated skin and complexion services.
Right. And I think that's actually really important because I feel like in school we didn't, well, for me personally in school, I feel like I didn't learn enough about like the education piece in that. So there was a lot of education that I kind of had to do by myself, which is okay, but it was just kind of like feeling a little bit like an outsider in school, like, oh, like how can I learn, especially like knowing I wanted to take care of my skin in school. So how can I really take care of my skin when I know like this product might necessarily not be for me versus someone else with fair skin tone. So I really like that. But if you had to just choose like one service, what would that service be?
One service, brows.
Brows, really?
Brows. I love brows.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know, everybody, when I do their eyebrows, they feel like they walk out this, you wake up like looking like a baddie every day. Like, I don't know, it's just a like really satisfying service to do too, like the process of it and just like shaping out their eyebrows, and again just the confidence that people feel when they get their eyebrows done and they just like they feel like a brand new girl, you know?
Right, yeah. I love facials because I love the education piece, especially clients who struggle with acne. So I love like putting like girl, you should not be using toothpaste on your face, because I used to do that. I literally used to do that. I used to find like every trick in the book as far as how I can clear up my acne. So I really loved like educating people, especially acne type skin. But
I blame TikTok.
Yeah, stay off of TikTok. Stay off of TikTok and get you a skincare professional. But I really just been loving doing like Brazilians. I feel like it's just like, I don't know, like in school I was like, okay, like I'm trying to feel it out, but now that I feel like I'm learning more about it and kind of like perfecting my technique, and then now I have like a new wax company that I'm using, I really just enjoy doing it. And I bought the white chocolate.
You did?
Yeah, so I'm very
wax.
excited to try that out too. But I'm just like, okay, it feels good.
I love Brazilians too. That's another one of my favorite services. Yeah.
So I feel like this question is a very deep question. What do you feel like is your biggest challenge that you had so far, and how do you feel like you overcame that challenge?
I feel like the biggest challenge, and this is like something that almost every solo SD sees in her first year, is building that clientele. I feel like it's the hardest part, the business aspect too, because when you first get into business, people think that you're instantly going to get clients booking like right off the bat, or you're going to get like 1 million followers overnight, and that's not really what happens. Like, you have to put in a lot of hard work when it comes to the quality of your content, the quality of your work, word of mouth, and just the way that I try to combat this within my first year is I talk about my business anywhere I go. Like, whenever I meet a new person, I tell them I have a business, I'm a solo SD, I do this and that. Or I post in, like, I'll find Facebook groups and I'll post in Facebook groups. I'll also, I put my cards anywhere. You know, I just, try to talk about my business as much as possible. And another thing I do is just focus on the quality of my content. I'm not it's another thing, I don't know if you've seen that Instagram reel where it was talking about how you become like every single person in the business, and it's like the content creator, you know. I don't know. I didn't wake up a content creator, but I try my hardest to research and find stuff that's unique to my business and my clientele. Try to make funny videos, relatable videos. I really focus on the quality of my content and just the quality of my work. I'm always researching stuff. I'm always finding new techniques. I research ingredients and companies and the products that they have, and just make sure I'm like constantly improving the quality of my work, so people are more inclined to book with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that you said like the uniqueness of it, because I feel like we're in an area where everything is like duplicated, and that's okay, but it's not like people are making it their own. I feel like it's the same thing. Same content, yeah. So I feel like trying to make yourself unique and really brand yourself to your business is very important. And what you said too, to add to everything about like building that clientele, another thing that's kind of big for me is just like networking. I feel like networking with other estheticians or people who I even meet through like the foundation, I feel like it's so important. Wherever I'm going, I'm like, hey, like, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, at first it was very hard for me to kind of talk about my aesthetics business because I was so focused on the foundation. And I'm like, oh wait, hold on, y'all, I'm an esthetician, like, you know. But I think networking is so important, and I feel like a lot of us don't do it enough, because sometimes it is hard to kind of get out there.
That shyness.
Right.
I was a little shy at first too. But I was like, you know, why would you, you know, you gotta own your business, like be the CEO of your business. Don't act like an employee, be the CEO.
And you literally know, like, you never know who you're gonna meet and cross lines with, so it's so important and just big on networking. I love networking.
Yeah.
Love it. So how do you think that you stay motivated in your business and the ups and the challenges and everything in between?
How do I stay motivated in the business? That's kind of a hard question to answer, to be honest with you. It's kind of just like I have like a lot of personal drive when it comes to my business. I've always dreamt of having a business, so it's kind of like just me keeping my word to myself, and you know, just having that drive when it comes to opening my business. I also like my clients. A lot of my clients, they're really fun, cool people, and I love seeing them when they come in for their appointments. And again, like making people feel good about themselves and making connections. I feel like all of that collectively is what keeps me going when it comes to keeping my business open. So I feel like that would be my answer to it. What about you?
That's a good question. That really is. I think so. For me, I would say because this year I'm really focused on building my business. And when I say that, I mean, in the past years, I've been kind of like balancing a lot. So I've been trying to figure out, is aesthetics really something I want to do? Is something I want to pursue? And I knew it was. So I was trying to figure out what that looked like and making sure that I do it correctly and starting up correctly as far as like paperwork, everything, just making sure that it's like correct in the back end. So I think how I stay motivated is knowing that no matter what, I want to do this business. And even though I have other things going on, just remember, like, you really want this. So just stay like motivated in the ways that you think like you can't really, I don't even know, like you think that you may stop, but just keep going. Literally just keep going. So I feel like that's literally my motivation in itself, is just like keep going. Like, you know, you want this. There's gonna be things that knock you out the park, but you really just gotta keep going and surround yourself around people who believe in you, and people who you like look up to. I think that's really important. So that's
a good answer.
Thank you. What is one thing you wish you knew before starting your business?
One thing I wish I knew before becoming a solo esthetician was that it's not just like something you can go into with like a couple $100s and just open up your business. You need to have like some money saved up. And I feel like that's where like people talk about how people like fail in their esthetician businesses, or they give up on it because they don't have enough like saved up. But it's just like, you got to prepare yourself when it comes to this. Like, you can definitely do it. So I feel like there's a lot of people who talk to estheticians who want to start out being solo and tell them, you can't do this, you can't do that. But no, there's stuff that you have to like actually research and take time to put aside for. So when I first started my business, there was a lot of cost when it came to starting up, even just my own salon suite. If you're gonna start out in a certain town, you need to make sure you're doing all the research that you can when it comes to the requirements for opening. Because when I first started my business, I thought I would just get my insurance, I would just pay for my suite and everything, and I already have my license paid for, and I was gonna be good. But when it came to the town that I opened up in, I had to do a lot of stuff when it came to opening and getting an actual salon license. So I had to pay money for the health inspector to come out and inspect, planning and zoning, the fire marshal had to come out. So that was like excess cost that I didn't necessarily budget for, because I wasn't expecting to do that. I was just expecting to just open my business and have like my insurance and everything paid for, and it's just gonna be all set. So I would just say, like, if anybody is gonna open up their own solo suite, make sure you're doing as much research as possible about when it comes to what it's gonna take to actually open your doors.
Right. And that's so important, research, because I feel like, so even just as us, like being in different towns, there's so many different rules that I have and you have. Like I have less, you have more. So it's like you really have to research your town, not only just by state of what they require, and like figure out, like when you're doing your research and everything in between, as far as like starting up, is to make sure you really create your business plan. Like get your business plan. You need to make sure you put out every single thing that you need in that list.
Absolutely.
And you want to prioritize that list, because I feel like sometimes you're like, ooh, like I want to get that, like that's cute, but it's like you don't need it right now. So
you don't need a hydrofacial machine.
Right.
You just started
right. Like, do you even have a bed? Like you
like,
need a bed.
Seriously.
Exactly. So you really, because I'm not gonna lie. So I feel like, as far as like marketing, like I was like, I really want my business cards. But it's like, I need to do a lot more. I didn't even have my my bank account open yet. So it's like, I knew I had to do both, but I wanted to do the other one before. It's not that I didn't know that I wanted to open up the bank account, but it's like, I wanted to do that. That was fun, you know? Like, so it's like making sure you know and prioritize the things that are important, like 1, 2, 3, as far as what needs to get done first. So.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
How do you balance your personal life and your business life?
Okay. So when it comes to balancing my work life and my personal life, it's gonna be a little bit challenging your first or second year, because most of the time we're still working and trying to manage our clients too. I'm going into my second year and I still work. The clients are starting to come in, but it's just like it takes drive, I would say. As long as you when you have like that drive and you know that you want your business to go certain places, you put in the work. So I just put in as much work as possible. I create my schedule to make it so I don't get burnt out, obviously. But it's just the drive that keeps me going.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, so the biggest thing for me is I love a calendar. So I feel like the balance for me is like I work, I have a foundation, and I also still have my business. So it's like dividing the 3 and figuring out what goes here, what goes here, what goes here. But it's like trying to remember again, like in all the things that I do, what is still like the most important, because like I need to do this over here for the foundation, but I want to do this over here for aesthetics. But it's like saying, okay, I can put this aside right now and I need to do this now. So it's like trying to find what works and what I need to honestly get done versus doing what I want. Kind of related back to the last question, but I feel like that's the biggest thing is my calendar.
Yeah.
The organization like is always there for me to be able to not feel so lost and like just do things. I feel like if I had like no calendar and I was kind of just going, I wouldn't have like a schedule or a system of what needs to kind of get done on certain days, to be honest. Right. We are almost finished, and I want to know, what advice would you give to someone who's either finishing aesthetic school or someone who wants to go into the field? Okay,
so for somebody who's still like in esthetician school and you're just finishing, get all the content you can while you're in school, because I see a lot of esthets, like they're in school, they're doing all this work, like you're getting so much practice. You have so many people you can use for content.
Mm-hmm.
Get those videos and start your Instagram account and start posting and building your brand from there, because that really helps you, especially if you want to be solo. That helps you like propel your brand forward, because you already have stuff on your page. You already have stuff for people to look for. When you get out of school, you're not going to have those people to practice on every day. Like, yes, you might have your friends and family to practice on, but you have to like schedule out time for them to come and be there for your videos. Make sure you get all that content you can when you're in school. That's all I could say.
That is a great answer. I feel like when I was in school, I created my Instagram page. I created like regular like posts like, this is how you take care of this, da da da. But it wasn't actual like pictures or videos. Like they always said like, go ahead, like build it, but I never really thought about it. So I feel like that's a really, really, really important thing. Just like get you a head start, to be honest. Like when you are finished with school, and that way you already have like that batch load of content to kind of put up. That's a good answer. I love that. What I would say, I think, well, one thing I would want them to know is that you are going to need to do a lot more research as far as whether it's waxing, whether it's facials. In school, most schools only use about 2 skincare lines, and there's so much more beyond that. So I feel like Google other skincare products, Google other waxing products, Google different stuff, test them out. Don't be afraid to test them out. A lot of places give you samples, so I feel like just you're gonna need to know a lot more than you do in school. And it sucks because we want to know a lot and we want to feel prepared, but once we are out of school, it's like, oh.
I like that answer too, because I see a lot of people say like, oh, I don't learn anything in school, but you have to make sure you're doing your research and ask questions. Ask questions to anybody you can, even if it's just your classmates, because some of the classmates I was in with school, they were like registered nurses, or they did other stuff like related to aesthetics outside. So it's like you can ask your other classmates questions about brands that they like, or ask your teachers in-depth questions, ask other teachers in-depth questions, and make sure you're doing your research. You can even depending on the school, if they let you try products out. Sometimes in my class, people would buy products from skincare brands and they bring it out to test on the students. So you can do stuff like that and just like test out each brand. Some brands will allow you to do student accounts. Some brands will even like send you out like free samples when it comes to SD stuff. So yeah, just make sure you're doing your research when it comes to product knowledge and asking questions, because you're not going to learn everything in school, but you need to do your part too.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you for being my first person to come on Tech. So where can people find you? Where is your Instagram page? Where are you located? Let the people know.
So my salon suite is based in Meriden, Connecticut. You can find me on Instagram at Kandi & Co. That's spelled with a K, so KANDINCO_. And I also have TikTok with the same tag. So that's where you can find me.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining. And just know that this is not the last episode. If you guys would like to be featured on Tech, please reach out, send us a DM, and we will get back to you.
Bye.